I start, I just want to say that this video, I'm like really tired, and the subject matter is something that is very sort of raw and painful for me to talk about, so I'm unlikely to be tactful in addressing it, and I'm also going to have a zero tolerance policy on anyone making deliberately dickish comments. Okay, so today we are talking about abusive relationships. Not a fun topic, I know, but necessary to address. I am using this book as a guide, and it is written by a guy who has spent like numerous years running a counselling program for abusive men and sort of getting them to address their abusiveness and stuff. I will start this by saying that personally I have had 2 relationships that I consider to be abusive. They were both only emotionally abusive. There was never physical violence, but I was sexually assaulted in one of these relationships, and there was sexual coercion in another one. So I'm not proud to admit that I've been in that position, because I feel like people are going to make me feel like I'm weak for being in that position, when actually what they should be doing is looking at the guys that were doing that to me and why they felt that that was an okay thing to be doing. So I'm gonna start with some myths about abusive men, because it is primarily men who are abusive. If you don't like that fact, then you're not gonna like this video, sorry. So, myth 1, he was abused as a child. Myth 2, his previous partner hurt him. Myth 3, he abuses those he loves the most. Myth 4, he holds his feelings too much. Myth 5, he has an aggressive personality. Myth 6, he loses control. Myth 7, he is too angry. Myth 8, he is mentally ill. Myth 9, he hates women. Myth 10, he is afraid of intimacy and abandonment. Myth 11, he has low self-esteem. Myth 12, his boss mistreats him. Myth 13, he has poor skills in communication and conflict resolution. Myth 14, there are as many abusive women as abusive men. I told you wouldn't like that fact. Myth 15, his abusiveness is as bad for him as it is for his partner. Myth 16, he is a victim of racism. Myth 17, he abuses alcohol or drugs. Right, those are all incorrect statements about people who perpetrate abuse, and it's very important to know that, so that the person who perpetrates abuse does not have an excuse for their abuse. Okay, we clear? Good. Sorry, it's difficult for me to talk about this. Other things to notice. His version of the abuse is worlds apart from hers. So people who are abusive do not realise they are abusive. They don't think that there is anything wrong with how they are behaving, because they have a level of entitlement that allows them to think that the world should just be like this and they should be able to do whatever the fuck they want because of, oh, look at them, I'm great. Ugh. These people can get insanely jealous but appear to be rational about everything else. So they can be like really, really rational but still think you're cheating from next to nothing. They tend to be able to get people to take their side rather than the side of the person they're abusing. They're very persuasive, often very charming, just good at having a front. Sometimes they seem to lose control, and sometimes they seem to have calculated their abuses, and that's important to know. They can seem to be changing and not change as well. These are all things to note. Some of the personal red flags I have noticed is things that are now like ingrained into me, as I will not date people who do these. People who have absolutely nothing positive to say about an ex, or or if they just slut shame and they talk about how emotionally manipulative their ex was. Warning sign. One of the guys was always complaining about how slutty his ex used to dress, and it made me uncomfortable about wanting to go out clubbing on my birthday. And that was shit. Guys who are horrible to their mums. I know it sounds so stupid, but if you're horrible about your mother, who the woman who is responsible for bringing you into this world, you can be horrible about literally every other woman, and I'm not keen. And finally, the last one, which some people will think is really stupid, but if a guy constantly and persistently takes issue with feminism, then that really worries me, because feminism is literally just the belief that men and women are equal. So if you're constantly going, oh, but it should have a different name or something, it should be like the equalist movement, but it's focusing on women. A movement for, LGBT people focuses on LGBT people, and that's why that's in its name. So yeah, those are some of my personal warning signs. I hope that I've helped some people maybe avoid abusive relationships, or like maybe think about whether they are in one. I strongly recommend everyone, absolutely everyone in the whole world, to read this book. Next week's video will be happier because I'm going away on holiday and I'll have lots of fun footage for you. Okay.